Hi, this is Shane with The Rational Trader. It is Wednesday, no, it's Thursday, the 21st. I thought it was Wednesday because of the oil news today, but that was because a holiday on Monday. Let's see, my system was down yesterday, so I don't have results for yesterday. Today, no trades in oil, which is really unusual for an oil news day. I thought, is there something wrong? Let's take a look at it and you'll see kind of what happened here. In general, that looks pretty ugly, right? So we start trading in here, 605. And I'll talk about the circle in just a minute. But this is a very typical sort of morning before the news report. Is very choppy and ugly. I have implemented this week a mechanism to use the machine learning system to model the area that's outside the value area. So here, the value area at this point in time, right here, at this point in time right here, the value area is right there and there, and we're below that. And so in the past, we've just not done anything unless you're at a low volume node. So what I've done is I built models and did testing and all that on those times when you're outside the value area but not near a low volume node, and we're specifically looking for those cases where the market is running. And so this is an example. We wouldn't normally see codes here. This is an example of that. That 106 right there is actually a code that I'm trading, so there was a potential long there. I don't take it because one of the things we do when we're outside the value area is we look at the waves to see if the market is chopping sideways, and that's exactly what is happening here. This is why the background is shaded. So the purple shading here means don't go long or short. So the way this works is that background shading will kick in when you're either above the value area high or below the value area low. And if it's red, like you see right here, that means don't go short because it's looking at these 2 points here. So it says, I suspect you're going to chop. So break out of that area before you can, break through that level before you start thinking about going short. And then it'll be blue if it's don't go long. And again, it's looking at the last couple of waves to see. Those points are very close together vertically. And so that very much looks like you're chopping. And so that's why it's purple, because blue and red on top of each other make purple. So I end up not taking this trade here because it says, I think you're chopping sideways, don't do it. There's a little bit there, but for the most part, we want to stay out of this. This is actually a really dangerous place right here at the value area low, and you're just rotating around it, because this is a place where we look for trades, but the market's not doing anything, and so we end up staying out of trouble because we're very selective about what codes we'll trade. So it's correct there. Then we move up into the POC. This is this dashed green line, point of control, and we won't get in when we're there. That's the place where the most volume has occurred. So the prices we already know that prices spend a lot of time there. It's not a place that we want to be looking for a trade. And then, let's see, so nowhere is 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock is when the news came out. That's right here. It's in this, sort of at the end of this chop right there. All right, so we stay out until 8:05. That's right there. All this is automatic. And then we start looking again. It's still, this still looks pretty ugly to me. All right, you're grinding sideways between the value area low and the point of control. So we automatically are staying away because at the POC, and then we're doing a good job of not getting in too much trouble here at the value area low as we continue to just grind around it. Right, we just rotate around it, and so when I look at this, and then that's the close right there. So when I look at this, that's a good trading day because there was mostly the only real opportunity was the opportunity to get destroyed or to get chopped to pieces, and we didn't take any trades. So that's exactly the right thing to do. Fairly unusual for an oil news day. Let's see, and let's look at the yen first. We caught one little move there. I haven't looked at this since this market is so quiet. We start trading over here, and you can see it's, we're basically at this, that looks ugly to me as well. So we got long at that green triangle right there. Kind of sort of barely survived the continued move down, and then pick up 5 ticks before it's continues its ugly thrashing sideways. There's a little move there, but really not much to work with there. So plus 5 ticks there. Let's see, let's take a look at gold. In gold, oh yeah, okay, so gold was interesting here because no trade, so zero gain. Similar scenario here where you can kind of see here you can see a movement down, but here that looks more like a movement up as a human looking at that, right? And so it's this area here to be concerned about, that the market starts chopping sideways here. There's a low volume node right there that we're keying off of. It's right next to the POC, so you got to get below it before you start looking. We actually get a signal to get long right there. We don't get filled. It would scratch or maybe make, is that right? Yeah, it would scratch. And then it rolls over, and we unfortunately we missed this down move here. There's some opportunity there, but we don't get that. We're not trading those codes. And then it's ugly again. And then I think, yeah, here right after 9. So we're a little bit of a danger zone again here as you sort of rotate around the value area low. Stay out of trouble though, but then we end up missing really the only good move of the day, which is right there. You get a shot at it, say right there or there. And then maybe in here as well. These codes have not shown themselves, 187 here, in both cases there and there, but that code hasn't shown itself to be reliable enough to trade, so it's not on my list of things to look at. So that works against me here today. And then that is it, right? That's it. We stopped trading at 1040, which is here. There is some very slow movement later on, but that's it there. So no trades there. And then let's see. We'll look at the NASDAQ in a minute. We looked at okay, so let's look at the euro. So the euro, we get short here. We wait until 5:30 to trade. There's clearly some news here at 5:30. So we as a general rule, we wait until 5:35 to start trading. So that's right there. You can see why. This is exactly why. There's news at 5:30, which is here, and then the market kind of goes berserk, whatever that news was, and we then go sideways. So we don't start looking until here. The market falls and we get short here. It's just a hint too early, or we needed a slightly better entry because we just get nicked. Get nicked by 1 tick, so that hurts. And then here we try to get short again, but again we're too early, so we take a loss there, and that's really unfortunate because that's 2 losses on the day, so you're done. And so we're not able to get in on that signal. So that's keying off this 141 here, that code right there. So give me the next down bar, which is this bar, and then we get filled at 35.85 there, and get that. There's that little piece right there to get, and I think that's it. Yeah. So kind of a little bit of a frustrating day there in the euro. The NASDAQ is in simulation, and I really cranked up the risk this week after some analysis. I added the same thing, looking at going ahead and looking at areas when you're outside the value area. This market is so volatile. Look at this. Wow. And what's not clear to me is if the machine learning system is just training on randomness, just random, basically random data. Because when you look at it, I don't have it up, but the actual data we're training on is when the market was incredibly volatile, even more than this. And so we can converge to a solution. We can find patterns. I do the analysis and wow, these numbers look really good, but I'm just not convinced that it's not, like trying to predict the random roll of the dice. So we'll see here. I just cranked up the risk this week. So we weren't taking enough trades the way I had it before. I was really conservative. So I added quite a bit more. In fact, what is the risk factor we're taking now? So the risk factor is at 20%, which is at the top end of the scale that we're willing to do. And so today it's a little surprising because given that I really don't see like huge numbers of codes. A lot of times you see it's so volatile. You see so many patterns being matched. This is ugly choppy madness here, which we're staying out of, which is good. There's a 274 long here, which would actually be kind of nice, but scary to take that trade given how choppy and ugly that market is. Same thing here. Here we're staying out because the POC is right there, but you can see what's going on. The market is just, there's a lot of two-sided trading there as the longs and shorts duke it out. And then you kind of break above that and chop again, and then you kind of break above it and then start chopping again. This is a very difficult market to trade here. Let's see here. We finally do take some trades later on. There's a nice move there off that break. All right, so the system tries to get long there, or it doesn't try. The system gets long there and takes a loss. We're using a 10-tick stop here, so that's $50. This is simulation. Let's not forget that. And then we try to get long again, but the market's done here. That looks like a nice short to me, actually. The way it double tops there, almost triple tops. And then, so at 2 losses, you're done for the day. So you miss any other further opportunity. There's a nice fall there, but no signal. This market's really volatile. Music's not too loud. Down to the POC, bounce off of it, and that's the end of the day. How is this doing here? Trade activity log. Plus 350, that's not right. Okay, that's the 6E from last week. Okay, so the 6E overnight from last week had that one night where you did really well. It's not what we want to look at here. NQ. Okay, so there's NQ. So starting this week, nothing special's going on here. Not a huge number of trades either. So we'll see. We're just gonna keep pushing forward here and see what it looks like this week. The number of behaviors we're looking for is I really increased it. So that's a big number. Longs and then shorts are here. So this is directly affects the risk factor, how much risk you're willing to take. But still, today, just a couple trades and really not a ridiculous number of signals either. So we'll have to see what happens there. Again, I'm really undecided on is this market still is it still too volatile to trade? Just looking at it, it looks tough. But 2, given the data that I have to work with to train the machine learning system, all of that data was during just insane volatility. And so, is it really meaningful to be training on that data? Would be a question. Okay, all right. So that is it for today, and we'll see what tomorrow's Friday. We'll see what tomorrow brings, and we'll continue to push. We now sort of have expanded this month's experiment to include outside the value area. So we'll see how that works out here over the next couple of weeks.